Oh. All right, all right, all right. Let's do this. Hey, it is Friday. It's been another week. It's been another crazy one. Lots of things happening and lots to get into. A lot of just figuring out what is actually happening in this place that we call a country. Let's bring it on in here. Let's come on in here, chat. Let's get this underway. If you've got yourself a wobbly pop, now's the time to crack it. Now's the time we're gonna have some time. Nice shirt, of course. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been busting out the Hawaiian shirts just because the weather's so nice. I love it. It's great. And it's a great way to enjoy it. Especially, it's hot, stuffy in this little room here. I got a fan blowing on me. I'm staying as cool as possible in this beautiful heat and hot weather. Hello and happy Friday, chat and mods and Clyde. Do something. Welcome, Canadian Spider. Awesome. Mega with the piece. Let me move this over so I can read it a little clearer. It's not behind my camera. Hawaii might be where you should escape to. Well, I'm not escaping to Hawaii, but I'd like to get a Hawaiian shirt that's got the Texas flag on it. How cool would that be? I would absolutely love that. But I cracked this and I didn't even take a sip. Cheers, everybody. Welcome. Now let's get into some of this. Holy cow, there's a lot to talk about this week. There's all kinds to talk about. In fact, where do we even start is the question. What do we get to? So first, why don't I ask you how you guys are doing? Spam, spam, spam. What is this new thing? I keep seeing this now. Number 2, number 1. Is this something new to YouTube? Or are you guys putting that in there? I have no idea how this is working. Or are you guys like the number one? Are you the number one person that came into the chat? You made it first, second, third, fourth, and so on. I don't know. Nobody told me it was going to be an ugly shirt night. Yeah, I suppose if you don't like it, it's an ugly shirt for you. I love it. I think it's amazing. The crown thing is new. Fan rank. It's a fan rank. And how do you earn these fan ranks? This is interesting. You have kings in your chat, Clyde. Do something. I didn't know. I had no idea. Wait, the fan ranks are changing. It's going to different people all the time. New YouTube auto thingy. Yes, number 1 commentator. A commenter. We don't know either. Oh, okay. So you comment a bunch and you get number 1? That's just going to encourage people to spam the chat. That's not cool. I think Facebook does the same thing. Comment first. Okay. Fun, eh? I guess. Is that, yeah. It's a little distracting. Not gonna, it's a social credit thing. Yeah, that's it. The other night after a few posts, it started. Yeah, I noticed it. And I didn't know what to make of it. To do with donos and chat interaction. Okay. But I'm seeing people who've never donated that have the crowns. And yeah, I don't know. I got XP for for my 1 comment. There you go. You're leveling up. It's like it's like Elder Rings or some game or something. No, it's new. Yeah, it's new. That was a great comment. Oh, okay. You're talking to somebody else. It goes how big your comment as well. What? How does that work? Managed decline is just another way to say controlled demolition. Yeah, it is. It is just another way to say that. Demolitions usually happen a lot faster, but I guess, well, depends on the type of demo. Yeah, it's exactly that. I have 75 experience points. Can you check that? How do you check how many XP you got in the chat? That's something else. It has to do with both. If you interact, you can still get higher level even without donos, but both count towards it. Oh, okay, interesting. New one for me. Better than nothing. Hello, Clyde. How you doing? Joe Duracell, how are you, my man? Viva la libertad, carajo. Vamos, Canada. Yeah. Long live liberty. Let's keep things strong. It's a new thing. Happened on different channels. I have 75 XP too. 50 XP. How do you even get that? Or like, how do you check it? How do you check what your XP is? This is all new to me. At least it isn't body count. Too funny. 96% of British Columbia, British men and 92% of American men admit to doing that recently in a world survey. Are you surprised, Annabelle? Why are you saying it so many times? Annabelle, are you a real person? Are you a real person? Hit those likes. Tap the crown. It's over 9,000. I gotta pull my glasses off and crush them. It's at the top. I got 50. It's at the top. Oh, hold on. What's this? Top fans. I can see who's. Oh, wow. Okay. I can see who's on top right now. That's new. This is all new to me. Interesting. Oh, well, I guess it's something fun and new. do your XP points carry over to the next things? That's great news, Annabella. That's great news. Enjoy that. Go have fun with that. Tired welding all day, putting in 40 feet of driveway gate and steel fence. Yeah, I'd be tired too. I'm 0 XP, whatever that means. It means you're not chatting enough. Chat more. Get in there. I'm a bottom gut. LOL. What? No, they don't. I had 175 last week. Okay, so it starts fresh every live stream. Well, that's good because then people won't just be on the top all the time. It'll be new and fresh every live stream. So that's good. It's embarrassing. I think it seems like chatting too much. Wow. No, it's fun. It's fun. Community. Everybody comes out here on a Friday to get in there and do all that stuff. Get on that. Anyway, Winiska, good evening. Welcome to the show. Friday stream is the highlight of my week. Jam. Appreciate that. Thank you. I mean, it's just me talking for most of the stream. That's the thing. Annabella, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. People aren't. It's just not really the community for that. But good luck. Good luck in your ventures into the future. What's on the menu tonight, Clyde? A bunch of different things. We're gonna talk about the 51st state, the rhetoric around that, and the people who are supporting it, and the people who are not supporting it, and the people who are supporting different things, but they're being maybe lumped into groups and misrepresented all over the place. And that's largely what we've been seeing a lot of in forever. But now it's like, who's misrepresenting who anymore? People saying things about other people that aren't true, saying like, oh, the Kathy Newman thing, right? So what you're saying is, and let me give you an opinion back to you that isn't your opinion, and really just trying to misrepresent what people's opinions actually are and what all that is about. I'd rather be 51st state than the BS we're going on right now. Yeah, Jelly Beans. That's the thing. That's the thing. I'd love to see things go in a different direction, but why don't we cover some other things right out of the gates? I think this one's important because this is, again, more, just fake news, straight up fake news. So this is Chris Barber, who's currently, been found guilty of mischief, which Eva Chippyak ever so eloquently wrote is basically the equivalent of doing a burnout in a parking lot. So they're going after him for a traffic violation, and they want him to get 8 years. And in this article written about him, what do they say here? It says, breaking, 3 people trapped in BC. Oh, that's not even related to this, but the sentencing hearing and they do this. Frank pointed this out just in his video the other day. You got to point this out as much as you possibly can. I pointed it out a bunch. They'll always say like so-called freedom convoy. They'll put it in quotes, freedom convoy, but they won't do that for left-wing causes. They won't say like black, and then in quotes, lives matter. They don't do that. They don't have like so-called Palestinian protesters run by communists. They don't do this stuff, but they definitely do this for the right, and it's across the board. They all do this. Anyway, the sentencing hearing for Freedom Convoy leaders Tamara Lich and Chris Barber was started in Ottawa months after the two were found guilty of mischief. Wow. Yeah, that's not even giving much credit to the fact that it's been going on for 3.5 years. Barber is appearing virtually due to the sudden death of one of his parents, while Lich is attending in person. Yeah, and it's repeated here again on 2 different platforms. Chris Barber putting it out there on X saying, I can assure everyone my parents are alive and well. Yet another example of the legacy media spreading misinformation. Just absolutely lying, I think, is the term for that, not just misinformation. Nitro for $2 says, should have Frank on as a regular on Friday stream. Well, let's see. I gave him the invite for tonight if he might pop in later. I love Frank. He's my man. He's the man. Absolutely love having Frank on. He's awesome. So yeah, maybe if he's available, we'll see. I threw the invite out there. So I've made it so the way the stream is configured and set up, I can facilitate that. I can make that work if that's how it happens. But yeah, in the meantime, let's go over some of these other stories. So this is another case. Yeah, absolutely. Another case of just where did they get their information? Did they double check? Did they do anything? And then other outlets are just simply reporting on what other outlets are saying. This is very reminiscent of what was going on during the Freedom Convoy, where media outlets would put out fake news, and then the police would read about that and then quote it to other reporters saying, oh, we heard on the news that this happened. And then they would repeat it back as an authoritative source. Hey, the police just said this. They just talked about this. And it became this incestuous relationship between the government, media, and different levels of police, whether it was the Parliament Police, the Ottawa Police, or RCMP. There was so many factors going on in there. And no, not too many people not actually reporting on what's going on. Was this Alexa Lavoie was reporting about it? Reporting about what? Reporting about what? I was lucky enough to, about a month ago, meet Alexa. She is awesome. She is a champ. Holy cow. Yeah. She's tough as nails. She's super cool. Yeah, she gets out there and she'll report on anything. The Christian singer in Montreal. Okay, I don't know anything about that. No clue. No idea. So we'll see. Yeah, if there's any news on. I haven't read anything, to be honest. But yeah, again with the old fake news. That's the narrative. And then news that dropped this week. Crazy. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Eva Chippyak, she was the lawyer who was made famous because she was the one who cross-examined Justin Trudeau at the POEC, asking him once and for all, when was it that you became afraid of your own citizens, the citizens of this country? When did that happen? She was debanked. She lost her bank account. And it seems like for political reasons. I love how they put this on the headers: personal and confidential. Like, you think I'm going to keep this personal and just because you wrote that on there? No, you can't do this and then hide behind we did this in confidence. We debanked you in confidence. Well, I wasn't expecting this. RBC, welcome to Canada, where tyranny has a great customer service. They're just awesome. I posted a link about it in your Discord. Oh, well, okay. If we have time, jump on that. Speaking of which, does anyone have the link for the Discord? So this is one of these things we only make the Discord available for people during the Friday night live streams. So I don't know if I have any mods in the chat right now at the moment. So I'll put this in there. Here's the link to our Discord. Join the I don't know, countless people that like to come in and have conversations after the fact. It's usually on Friday nights that people come out and hang out and jump into the Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's another social media platform where you can go in. It has really good voice and video conferencing calls. So it's a great way to do things. But we had to lock it down. We had to lock it down some time ago. We had a bunch of people, a bunch of bots, a bunch of trolls who weren't there for the community. They were there for their own purposes, usually sowing discord, which is ironic by the name of the thing. Canadian Spider-Man, Discord is fantastic, and thanks for doing it. No mods yet. Well, we'll get some mods in here soon enough. Hopefully, because yeah, we never know. But so the reason why we only give out the link during the Friday night live streams is to thwart that activity, stop trolls from coming in, stop people with bad intentions, things like that. It does put a big hook into that, of course, and we monitor the behavior. And so you're being invited to like a communal space. Behavior, you get kicked out. Don't pull this like my free speech thing. Yeah, it's not the town square. You're being invited, and if you're rude, goodbye. That's usually how it works in that case. Anyway, what do we got here? We got Fight You with a $10 super chat. Says, did you see the recent interview with Frances Widowson and the CBC? It was a great interview. She almost made the reporter cry. I did not see that. I've had Frances Widowson on the show. She's fantastic, and she's doing a lot of work to make people aware of just the hoax, the big hoax that took place surrounding the Every Child Matters thing in Canada. And it's not to say that maybe there wasn't some bad stuff that took place at residential schools, but the mass killings didn't happen. That didn't happen. That wasn't a thing. And it's because of brave people like her that are, though they get fired and they're willing to just keep going and push forward on this, even in the light where it doesn't look like a lot of people want to come in and back them up. It's great. It's great that people like her will come to the forefront and do something about it. And that's it's so commendable, absolutely commendable. So great to hear that she's getting more traction, and hopefully it went well, because we know how the CBC can be. Ellen DeGenerate, I love the name. I worry my name alone sets the troll alarm off, but I've been a long-time viewer and subscriber. Appreciate what you do and love the shirt tonight. Thank you. Again, I'm getting mixed signals on the shirt. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it. I'm loving it personally. I'm all about it. Your name won't get the troll thing if you come into the Discord, no problem. But if anyone who behaves like a troll, it's very, very low tolerance in that community anymore, because we've just had too many things come about. And that's the thing. Annette saying, I like your shirt. Thank you so much. You don't need evidence to be guilty. That's usually how it works. Usually you need to prove that someone's guilty. I don't know where you're getting at with that. Invested in some Hawaiian shirts for summer. Nice. I'm glad to hear it. Am I starting a trend? With these? I need to get more. I only got a handful of them. But maybe I should do that. Maybe that's what I should do. Okay, lots of people loving the shirt. Well, that's cool. I like the shirts. Clyde, UBU. Awesome. Cool. Whoa. Okay. That's Mr. Roscoe Pico getting super generous tonight with a $50 super chat. Wow. Right out of the gates. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. My cousin killed himself I'm so sorry. my friend a week before. I have 5 friends under the age of 40 that have birthdays on Facebook and are gone this week alone. Please hold the line, people. Thank you, Clyde, for your continued efforts. I'm so sorry, my man. Man, I'm really, really sorry to hear that. Oh, boy. That was, something Frank was talking about, too, this week. He wanted to get in touch with someone that he cared about a lot and just hadn't talked to in a very long time. And it was a healthy, middle-aged man, and just reached out to him and only to find out from his next of kin that he wasn't around anymore. And the real moral of the story is, man, don't hesitate to reach out to the people that you love. Don't hesitate. I'm so sorry, Mr. Roscoe Pico, for your loss. Yeah, and we're going to keep on the efforts, man. We will. We absolutely will. Thank you for your shared commitment to all of this. Really, really, really can't thank you enough. Brutal. It's getting stressful out there. It really is. Man. Cheers to everyone out there. Yeah. Crazy. Well, let's do what they'd hope that we do and move on and do well. Do well for ourselves and for everyone in our communities and everybody around. What are you drinking? I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say on the stream. I'm not sure if I'm not allowed to say. But we'll say it's soda with some other good stuff in there. Makes it a little wobbly. Who won? I don't know. I'm not sure what we're talking about. Let's get back to some of the stuff that we were getting into. So Eva Chippyak being debanked this week. It seems like a lot of this is happening. So from the bank, RBC Royal Bank, saying Eva Chippyak, this is termination of your banking relationship as federally regulated financial institution. RBC is required by law to comply with applicable legislation. These laws require that we implement certain processes and procedures which directly support the formulation of RBC's positions with respect to risk. After careful consideration, we rightfully advise you that your recent activity and your account is outside the RBC's client risk appetite, and consequently, we are no longer in a position to continue our banking relationship with you. Now, is this because of her shady banking practices? Clyde and his wobbly pop. Yeah, that's right. Speaking of which, you guys can get your wobbly pop t-shirts. They're still available on the website. Get on over there, get you some of that. And if you haven't already, get yourself a mug. Some of the mugs are sold out. The Afuera mug is still available. The the explicit mug is sold out at the moment, but definitely coffee is still available. So many people don't even still know about the coffee. It is some of the best coffee you'll ever have. It's I'm actually involved in the process of this. Good friend of mine, Yuji, down in Burnaby, British Columbia, does small batch roasting. We decided to collaborate and get this out for you. Every bag is roasted on the order when you order it. So get yourself over there and get on that. Where was I with this? Sorry. Got to find my part, the bit where I was at. So Eva Chippyak talking about this recap of events in Canada this week. And it's only Thursday. In Ottawa, it was Friday now. In Ottawa, the sentencing hearing resumed for Tamara Leach and Chris Barber after being found guilty of mischief earlier this year. The Crown is now seeking 7 years prison sentence for Tamara and 8 years for Chris. The defense is calling this, what it is, cruel and unusual punishment. They're asking for leniency, including an absolute discharge for Chris, citing their lack of criminal records and the fact that it was a peaceful protest rooted in charter protected rights. One thing she didn't mention is the fact that they want to confiscate Chris Barber's truck. Oh, Audio Jack, thanks for that. They want to confiscate Chris Barber's truck, the Big Red, the #1 truck from the Freedom Convoy. Iconic now. They want to confiscate it and have it destroyed. This is the pettiness of our government. It was not a violent uprising. It was a protest sparked by unprecedented government overreach into personal autonomy. Yes, it was loud. Yes, it was disruptive, but blame lies squarely on the elected officials and the police for the massive mismanagement that let it escalate. Canadians were standing up to decisions that deeply affected their lives, livelihoods, and freedoms, their liberty. So how did a protest resulting in minor criminal charges turn into the threat of nearly a decade in prison? Also, this week, Parks Canada revoked permits for an American Christian musician set to perform at national historic sites. Why? Public safety concerns, of course, tied to his political views. Since when do affiliations justify canceling the public spaces? You read the stories about that. Again, Frank pointing out that when they talk about him as a street preacher, in quotes. They can't just say he's a street preacher. If you are a preacher and you do it on the street, you're a street preacher, not a street preacher. But that adds the effect that they're going for. Then a man in Nova Scotia was removed from an Air Canada flight for wearing a t-shirt showing a real photo of former PM Justin Trudeau in blackface. Offensive? Maybe. Illegal or untrue? No. Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, that happened. That was Uncle Hack, comedian from Alberta. That's what Alexa was posting about. They were heroes around the world. You better believe it. You better believe it. Heroes around the world that inspired people to do similar things. That truck Big Red is a part of Canadian history. And a turning point in one of the biggest events in our lifetime. It belongs in the Royal Ontario Museum or somewhere similar. I think it should go to the United States when Chris is done with it, and it should go into a museum there because I don't trust Canadian authorities with such a priceless relic. To top it off, the federal vaccine injury compensation program is now been exposed for what it really is, a bureaucratic nightmare, and frankly, a fraud on the people it was supposed to help. Years later, most injured Canadians still haven't seen a cent. But contractors have probably made millions. Contractors getting their procurements through Ottawa, as we've seen in the past. And once again, RBC froze my bank accounts, citing vague risk concerns, just like 2022. No charges, no hearing, no explanation. This is not about whether you supported the protest or not. It's about the principle. It's about fairness, due process, the rule of law, and the kind of Canada we want to live in. What kind of country is this becoming, and are we okay with it? And of course, we all remember this scene with Chrystia Freeland. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Maybe you can through my speaker. Yeah, they'll bite. They'll bite all right. And sometimes they bite back. Unfortunately, yeah, Canadians went through something fierce. But yeah, they're still doing it. Can't hear it, Clyde. Well, it's basically Darth Freeland. Just saying, we're gonna take your money. We're gonna take it from you. Your possessions, your bank accounts, your corporate accounts, your insurance will be taken away. Yeah, no sound. Apologies for that. Do you really want to hear Chrystia Freeland's voice? Your intro didn't have sound either. Interesting. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Technical troubles. It's a thing. But here we are. Where, yeah, they can just freeze your bank accounts. They can shut you out from having any financial life. Is it really something that you can not, like, you could live without? Tom Razzo here putting it out there on X saying, please share far and wide. How is it possible in 2025, one of Canada's 5 federally chartered banks can unilaterally decide to close your accounts without warning, without explanation, without any form of due process? Banking is not a luxury. It's not a perk for an optional some optional service. In our modern world, it's a fundamental requirement for survival. You cannot rent an apartment, get paid, pay your bills, or you access government services without a functioning bank account. Being shut out of the banking system is a form of economic erasure. Yet the very institutions that are licensed, regulated, insured, and backed by the Canadian government can cut you off at their discretion, citing vague internal risk assessments or policy violations, with no obligation to justify it to you or to anyone else. If these banks enjoy the privilege of being of public trust and taxpayer-backed protection, they're not operating on a level playing field like other private businesses. They're part of a tightly regulated oligopoly with barriers to entry so high that Canadians effectively have no alternative. Well, you do. You have credit unions. The Canadian banking system is not truly free market. It is protected class of institutions, and yet they're not held to the standard of public responsibility that should come with that protection. No, they're not. Let's get into some of these chats. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to fall behind. Granite Man for 2 says, World Economic Forum Carney job is to destroy Canada. PRC plan. That is it. Also for $2 saying Carney will enact Emergencies Act in response to the Trump cause. Trump did it. Trump made this all happen. That was a thing. Yeah. Sorry, I just got a message. My bad. Yeah. Well, I mean, why don't we get into some of that? Why don't we? Because, yeah, this is just such a story. It's unbelievable what we've been going through. Oh, what's this? Jarrett the Goblin King. Jareth. Thank you, Clyde, for speaking out. I self-censored all through my time at university because the profs bullied us into it. We couldn't even say a bad thing about Omar Khadr. Yeah, when you go through university, you kind of got to suffer it. Get your education. Don't risk it. Get it. You got to be underground about your thoughts. But yeah, don't risk your education. Get it, and then move on and actually do something good once you've gotten out of there. Because yeah, they'll screw you over. They totally will. Wait till tomorrow. LOL. Every day. Lol. I'm not sure what that means. I'm definitely looking into a credit union. That would be a smart one. I would like to see American banks allowed to operate on Canadian soil. That would probably get rid of some of these issues. Let's just say. But are you able to go down the street and get a Wells Fargo account, a Chase account, a Bank of America account? But I keep getting told there is no restriction on banks in Canada. I keep getting told this. It's a big lie. But let's get into this. Let's get into this because it's just, oh boy, where do we even start? Where do we even start? I think we just start from the tab that I have open. Why don't we just start there? Because I'm using a different piece of software. We got to do this a different way, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. There it is. Sorry, chat is not visible while we're watching this, but here's the news that we got from Donald Trump just today.
We will have most of our deals finished, if not all. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe, the EU, which covers a lot of territory, a lot of countries, and that's the big one right now. We have the confines of a deal with China, but we haven't really. We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it. When you send out, we will have most.
I'll get back to James's comment on this, but you guys all heard the audio on that, correct? That was fine this time. Yeah, that's Donald Trump saying all the asset volumes are low. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that one was just recorded really low. Let me see if I got a better version of it. Oh, that's much higher. Hold on. We can watch this now. This will sound a lot better. How can I do this? Let's go to this. There we go. You should be able to hear it now.
With Canada, I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. We're working very diligently with Europe. With Canada.
No deal. No deal. Trump just said that Canada will likely just pay the tariffs, not really negotiation. Wow. Yeah. So it looks like that's the case. Now, this isn't news, because the Carney administration has already come forward with this. Let me see if I can't find that tab. I've got so much stuff on the go at the moment, so bear with me as I pull that up. I think we'll just start with that, and also I do want to share this one because I find that this is very important. So this is Howard Lutnik, who is he's the guy in charge of all this finance stuff, all this talking about trade deals with other countries. And here he is on Face the Nation, and he's being interviewed to ask about Canada and what's going on with the trade there, because there's so many good things coming out when it comes to trade with other countries in the United States. But Canada just seems to be this one that's just holding out and won't cooperate.
Books, because you have that August 1st deadline. But President Trump sent letters to most of the major trading partners announcing higher tariff rates effective August 1st. That could hit countries accounting for 3/4 of U.S. imports. Let's talk about Canada, one of the big ones. Their prime minister said this past week there's not a lot of evidence they can get a trade deal with the U.S. that avoids tariffs. Is your message to Canada, Mr. Secretary, that no matter what they offer at the negotiating table, free trade's gone, there will be a tariff in place?
No, see, that's silly. We have a plan called USMCA, U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement. Virtually 75% of all goods coming from Mexico and Canada already come in tariff-free. The president said, look, unless you stop this fentanyl and close the border, we're just going to keep tariffs on the other 25%. And that's what he has on. So don't be confused about it. The president understands that we need to open the markets. Canada is not open to us. They need to open their market.
This is the thing that we really have to focus on the most. Canada is not open for business. And this is the biggest gripe. This is largely the biggest gripe. And this is a gripe that the United States has with many, many other countries around the world. And Canada is probably one of the worst actors on this whole principle. So yeah, they're going hard at this. And Canada's going to get tariffs if Canada doesn't shape up.
unless they're willing to open their market, they're going to pay a tariff. That's a simple message the president has. It's fair trade. It's reciprocal trade. Why should we have our country be wide open while theirs is closed? This is an 80-year wrong that President Trump is trying to fix, and our businesses are going to really, really enjoy it. I think the president's going to open between $300 and $400 billion of opportunity for Americans. That's 1.5%, up to 1.5% GDP growth, because the president's going to open all these markets up.
Yeah.
You saw it with Vietnam. You saw it with Indonesia. You're going to watch all these other countries decide if they want to do business with America. Let's just open our market up to America. That's opportunity that President Trump is bringing.
It is seriously a big opportunity, and let's get into some of that. Let's talk about it, because what was the deal with Indonesia that Trump had brought forward? I'm skipping past a bunch of things. Okay, here we go. So this went out on Truth Social. Let me pop this up in the tab right there. So this went out on Truth Social, and this is Donald Trump's Truth Social on is that July 2nd. So this is a while ago. It's my great honor to announce that we just made a deal with the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. After speaking to Lam, the highly respected General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam, they're still a communist country, which is crazy, but they are an emerging market. They are, I mean, like most, unlike well, not like North Korea. A lot of communist countries, they still have the name communist, but they've been moving away from the tenets of communism. Anyway, it will be a great deal of cooperation between the two countries. The terms are, and this is amazing to me, because Canada is really griping. They want to have free, open access to the U.S. economy. They want no barriers, nothing to do business with America. But this isn't the deal that everybody else is getting. So you got to tell me, wait a second, why? Why does Canada deserve this for nothing? Just because they happen to be next to America. This is an interesting one. So the terms are that Vietnam will pay the United States a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent to our territory, and a 40% tariff on any transshipping. So you'll get dinged if you try to go around the tariffs and go into a lower tariff jurisdiction to avoid the 20% tariff. Vietnam will do something that they have never done before. Give the United States of America total access to their markets for trade. In other words, they will open their market to the United States, meaning that we will be able to sell our products into the Vietnam at zero tariff. This is my opinion that the SUV, or as it is sometimes referred to, large engine vehicle, which does so well in the United States, will be a wonderful addition to the various product lines within Vietnam. Dealing with General Secretary Tu Lam, which I did personally, was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This is no small thing. You might think, oh, Vietnam, little communist island in the Pacific, whatever. This is an emerging market. Canada is not an emerging market. Canada is a dying market for all. I mean, I can't think of a better term. Can you think of a better term? If you can, put it in the chat. What would you call Canada's market? A dwindling market? The going around the toilet bowl market? What kind of market? We have the lowest GDP per capita in like the OECD, the G20, a resource colony, failing market, choked. We have a market. Oh, thanks, Brian. Appreciate that, mate. Okay. Collapsing market, stagnant, Malthusian spiral. What's the opposite of Malthus? The overpopulation. What would you call that? Because we're declining in population. Vietnam is the second largest producer of coffee. I did not know that. I know they make lots of shrimp. Retarded market. Hello, Jilly Peppers. Welcome in. So we're looking at this. Canada's market is actually nothing compared to like this trade deal is amazing. Americans will be able to sell their products to to an emerging market that has a rising middle class, which means they'll have more people buying products, which will build the manufacturing base back in the United States. This is a great thing. Hijacked market. I like that. Vietnam also has 100 million people in a small geographical area. 100 million people with easy transport to all the different places in that place. Canada is not declining population. I don't know who told you that. Maybe the United States is. Okay, so Canada's population is not declining, but the birth rate is well below what it needs to be. So if we didn't have mass immigration at the moment, we would absolutely have a declining population. So we have a declining population of natural-born Canadians. You're being naive, Clyde. It all fake. We're losing our middle class. You're absolutely right about that. Birth rate, now that's a different story. Canada has, sorry, that scrolled too fast. Give me a second here. Birth rate, now that's a different story. In Canada, the people have not been able to afford to have families for decades. That's such a cop-out. And we've been told this a lot. Oh, we can't afford things, so we're not having children. Look through the history of Canada. Who made the most children? All the people who couldn't afford things. It was always, people who came over, settlers, families of 12, families of 13. Crazy numbers. I fell into that trap too. Can't have kids until I have like a good amount of money. Nah, have kids. Have kids. I know it sucks. You might not be able to have, the Xbox, the newest Xbox and all these other things. But yeah. In fact, all those things are just coming down in price. It's really just rent and food that's the most expensive stuff. But I would say, yeah, farming families. But I would say, lowering, how do I word this right? Because you're not lowering your standard of living. You would just be, putting off some immediate gratifications in life in order to have the best thing that you could ever do, and that's have children. The best thing I've ever done in my life is have children, and I've done some freaking awesome things. Let me tell you, I've done some really awesome things in my life, and none of it compares to my two beautiful kids. Nothing. Never had TDS, just see what's real and fake. Yeah, there's a lot of real and a lot of fake. So that's the deal for Vietnam. Before we get to the next one, Waniska for 10. Thank you so much. Waniska for 10 says, we see they're causing a depression so that they can blow out the economy and consolidate it and bankrupt it. They're enemies of free humanity. I agree. I would concur with what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that. Unbelievable. So let's look at some of the other deals that are going around here. So that was that was Vietnam. We also have this. This was from a bit ago, July 15th. Breaking. Donald Trump announces a trade deal with Indonesia, which will have 19% tariffs imposed on goods exported to the USA. This morning, I finalized an important deal with the Republic of Indonesia after speaking with their highly respected president. I'm not even going to try. Sorry, Indonesia. I'm not doing it. This landmark deal opens the Indonesia's entire market, the whole market, to the United States for the first time in history. Because guess what? A lot of these markets were closed to the U.S. Couldn't sell American goods. Couldn't do it. As part of the agreement, Indonesia is committing to purchasing $15 billion of U.S. energy, $4.5 billion in American agricultural products, and 50 Boeing jets, many of them 777s. For the first time ever, our ranchers, farmers, and fishermen will have complete and total access to the Indonesian market of over 280 million people. 280 million people. Just scale that for a moment and just think about how important Canada is in the grand scheme of things when you have these big markets that are willing to take on, and they're willing to take on a 90% tariff, 19% tariff on all of their products going into the United States and open their markets up. This is a good deal for them. Indonesia will pay the United States 19% tariffs on all goods they export to us, which only increases the price of those goods. It only increases the price for American citizens. But that money goes to pay off the debt and all these other things, hopefully. It just makes their products more expensive for Americans. While U.S. exports to Indonesia are to be tariff and non-tariff barrier free. If there's any transshipment from a higher tariff country, then that tariff will be added onto the tariff that Indonesia is paying. Thank you to the people of Indonesia who are your friendship and commitment to balancing our trade deficit will keep delivering for the American people and the people of Indonesia. Now, one thing you got to look at in this whole huge deal, yeah, I love that. $550 billion up front. What would it take from you guys to have a little open mind about Carney? I mean, what? Open mind about what? Read through his book. I mean, he's pretty clear. He's pretty clear about what he's about. I mean, the guy quotes what Marx 30 times in his book. Unbelievable. Yeah, I have an open mind, but I don't believe that a guy is gonna change his entire opus at the last minute and then become just like a conservative or like a 1990s liberal. I just, yeah. Japan put up 550 billion. Yeah, Japan really does prop up the US dollar. It's something else. Everybody wants American potato chips. What? Do they? But have a listen to this. So here's the idea. If I built a shopping mall, if I took all my savings and I put it into building a shopping mall, and I build this big, beautiful shopping mall, and it's great, and I invite people to come and bring their businesses and put them in the shopping mall, do you think I wouldn't charge them rent? Is that crazy to think that I'd want to get something out of it? And that I would want to have some sort of like ability to access the market myself. So this is an interesting thing. If someone who's a business that's like a neighbor to my mall, and then they just come waltzing in with a little kiosk on wheels, and then they're like just selling things to people, and they're getting the patrons in the mall that I brought forward. Do you think I'm not gonna say, hey, pay up? If you want access to this market, it's going to cost you. You don't just get free access to this market that we built. And this is literally what the Americans are looking at. They're saying, if you want access to our markets, that's great. Open up your markets. Open up your markets, and then we'll grant you access. But there's going to be a bit of we have the biggest market in the world. We've been getting a raw deal for a very long time. And here's the deal. We're just going to make it so you guys have to pay a little surplus to enter our market. That's it. And in exchange, we'll give you access to the market for all the businesses that come in. It's a thing. They would need to pay for their space rent. That's right. That's right. And the deal here is that Canada's been doing that to America for a very long time. What did Mr. Lutnik say? 80 years. For 80 years, he's been doing this. Or Canada's been doing this. And America's like, finally, you know what? That's it. That's it. We're putting an end to that. I demand a Clyde's Poutine Palace when he gets here. I'll be the first in line. Are you in Texas? I'm not French. Couldn't do poutines. That's not my forte. It'd be funny though. Poutine Palace. Oh, you're in Oklahoma. You come all the way to Texas just for the poutine. What would Canada be like if Trump was our leader? That would be interesting. And so because of that, right? Because of all of this stuff, this is where I like Zachary. Zachary on X. Always on about it. 51st state chatter is intensifying. More Canadians are beginning to accept that it's inevitable. The old meme. Oh boy. Yeah. I like how they use the Starship rocket booster in that one. Oh, way too funny. Way too funny. But yeah, the rhetoric is boosting up, and a lot more people are talking about it. A lot more people are like, whoa, hold on a second. Poutine party in Texas? Sweet. Geez, maybe I should. Maybe I should start a poutine place in Texas. Maybe that would be a thing. So the 51st state stuff is taken off, but it's not just the 51st state, right? That's not the opinion of most people. Some people are like, yeah, I'd love to be part of America. 51st state thing. I'll tell you one thing, as an American, as an American voter, and especially after seeing what just happened in the Canadian election, that just passed by, I do not want Canadians, especially anything east of Manitoba, voting in American elections. We don't need another California to ensure that the Democrats get in forever. Don't want it. Absolutely don't want it. But I do sympathize, and I think that you said it, Clyde. Time to get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah, but where would you source your cheese curds? Well, I don't think there's cheese tariffs going from Canada to America, which is crazy. Because it's like, what, 350% tariffs on cheese? And people are like, no, that never gets paid. Nobody ever pays it. Yeah, of course, because nobody's crazy. But all it does is it just stops the thing from coming in the country. It just stops the thing. Like you're not even given the option of buying the 350% markup cheese, because that's it. Oh, Wisconsin cheese curds, that'd be a thing. But you can't even get it. So it just stops. It's a trade barrier. And people are like, yeah, like, just but we got the quotas that, yeah, the quotas are divvied out to cronies, friends of those Ottawa bureaucrats. that get these quotas so that they can buy cheese products and put them on the market. And then that just enriches people. So they're buying cheese products at a super cheap price, selling them at a huge markup in Canada, and then nobody can compete with them because nobody else has those things. The only way they could compete is if they bought it at a 350% markup and then tried to enter the market and compete against all the people that got the carve outs. What's up, Clyde? How's the immigration process for your wife? It is slow and arduous, and we're still just waiting. Still just waiting. Stop printing French words on packages outside of Quebec. Just save us billions. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, so of course, the 51st state rhetoric is popping up. I jumped in today to talk about it. I don't think that there should be a 51st state. I don't agree with that. I sympathize with it, but I just told you, as an American voter, I wouldn't want the Canadian voter electorate to be in U.S. elections. Nope. But I said, let's face it, Canada has already lost its national sovereignty. We can stop talking about that because that's out the window. We've sold it off long ago. We have virtually no military and the worst performing economy, and it was all self-imposed. We did it to ourselves. We can't blame anybody else. There's no scapegoat. Not only did we make that happen, but we voted for it. I didn't personally vote for it. You probably, everyone in the chat probably didn't personally vote for it. But the Canadian electorate did. Voted for it. Voted to shut down pipelines. And you can say, yeah, well, Biden shut down a pipeline. Yeah, Biden shut down a pipeline. That sucks. But we could have made those pipelines in Canada, but they all got shut down too. No business case. No business case for... I'm doing something right now, Darth Wizzy Wizard. I can't. I'll visit your podcast and see how much you're doing, but we'll keep going. Not we, Clyde. No, of course not we. But nonetheless, it's been self-imposed. Either the USA is going to take charge, or it will be China with the help of the European Union. That's the way it's going to go. Which do you prefer? It's already in the works. It's already happening. It's already moving. This, like, the elbows up, and we're going to fight, and we're going to go after those Yankees, and we're going to get them, and we're going to have a stronger economy than we ever had before by not trading with the people who are in the closest proximity to us with the largest economy on the planet, and we're going to take our products to the markets of Europe and the countries that are all swirling down the toilet bowl right now because of their policies. And we're going to go to China where they're having a giant economic flop because of this housing market that's burst on them and a declining population. Oh, that's where we're going to go with it. Oh, man. No, we're not going to become a resource colony for China with our American friends just below watching it happen. That's not going to go. It's not going to fly. That's not the way it's going to go at all. I don't see it that way. I don't see that happening. But Canada accepts they're not going to get a trade deal before the 35% tariffs kick in 1 week. Just don't even think it's going to happen. Carney? I guess it's not happening. Whoops. Whoopsies. I guess we just sat on that for too long. The U.S.-Canada trade deal status is simply a no-brainer. What? The status is a no-brainer. President Trump will answer questions about Canada and tariffs. He'll put people into seats to discuss trade with the Canada delegation, and he'll give every outward appearance of being favorable to Prime Minister Mark Carney. But in the background, Trump is simply waiting for the USMCA timeline to trigger a renegotiation. President Donald Trump is ambivalent to the trade partnership with Canada. This is a moot status. Reality is why there's no substantive agreement, no deal until USMCA redo is a win for President Trump. All these other negotiations have absolutely been a win. Darth Wizzy Wizard for $2.79. Here's my nice thumbs up. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Depends on how you use it. Give more context about comrade. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I think you guys take thing for granted. What thing? Canadians hydrate their fields with milk. Oh, I'm surprised we don't do it with Gatorade. Holy cow. Yeah, it feels like idiocracy up here, man. It really is something else. It's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes. I don't know if you guys have seen Idiocracy, the movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's so funny. What did Trump say to China during the trade war negotiations? It's my way, or the Huawei. What? Yes, Darth. Nice is more appealing. That's the thing. Plants crave electrolytes. It's man, the thirst mutilator. Yeah, funny flick, so relevant right now. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's really good. It's called Idiocracy. Guy accidentally falls into a cryogenic chamber, wakes up like 500 years later, and everybody's idiots. Everybody's a bunch of idiots. Such a good movie. But they paint it like all the liberals didn't breed, and that's why everybody's idiots. But we all know how it's actually gone. Oh man, it's definitely not the case. There's a lot of idiot liberals. Totally. So Mark Carney not looking to even make a trade deal, not even looking to do it. There's a thread. I gotta find it. There's a great thread on Twitter. Here it is. Found it. This is from Michael at Mike's username 77. Thread: Mark Carney has no intention of making a U.S. trade deal and what that means for Canada. Mark Carney is being positioned as the savior of Canadian politics, but behind the scenes, there's a tragic calculation unfolding. A U.S. trade deal? Not part of the plan, and here's why. First, look at the facts. So here's a bunch of different trade deals that have been made. UK signed, Australia signed, Japan signed, South Korea signed, Indonesia signed, Switzerland finalizing terms, China preliminary concluded, Vietnam deal reached, and Canada dead quiet. What's wrong with us? What are we doing? Why? A deal with the U.S. would require economic cooperation under a potential Trump presidency, and that doesn't align with the narrative Carney is constructing. Instead, Carney is leaning towards deepening EU alignment. He's a former governor of the Bank of England, Davos darling, and embedded in the European financial elite. The EU's model: centralized planning, green regulation, and heavy social policy. This is what's coming. But are you going to get people, crickets? Yeah, maybe their main protein source in a Carney future government. This is all stuff that Carney wrote about. This sounds more in line with what Carney wrote about than what the picture people are trying to paint of Carney, and what largely was won over with Carney coming in, being the adult in the room, turning things back, going back to 1990s type liberal leadership, that kind of thing. Yeah, he's a central banker. That's right. Ford should shut that hole in his face. I have a feeling that Ford's trying to align himself in such a way that he can take over conservatism on the federal level as a party leader. I don't know. We'll see. I know a lot of people have been talking about this. A lot of people. What would this shift mean for Canada? Weakening North American integration, stronger alignment with EU-style social spending, distance from U.S. energy independence, regulatory framework that match Brussels, not Washington. Here's the big picture. No trade deal with the U.S. equals controlled economic stagnation, justification for stimulus and deficits, expanded social programs like UBI. You probably see some other things come about with that. Central bank digital currencies. You probably see a social infrastructure. What would you call it? A social. I'm drawing a blank on the term that people use for that. A social credit score, that kind of thing. Winiska with a $5 super chat, and also number 3 in the chat, rising up in the ranks. Clyde, find the Burton Ernie meme of Carney and Doug Ford. Is that a thing? Right after we get through this. Burton Ernie. That's hilarious. Yeah, and then a platform to run against Trumpism in 2025. By starving Canada of a U.S. economic boost, Carney can push deficit spending as necessary, introduce UBI as a stabilizer, Trump threatens our values. What values? I thought we were a post-modern state or post-nation state. We don't have any values. We don't have any culture. We don't have any of that stuff. Rally progressives with anti-American messaging. A trade deal with U.S. would force economic pragmatism, lower tariffs, more energy exports, less bureaucracy. That undercuts Carney's strategy of top-down transition and elite-driven policy. Central planning. He's a central banker. He loves central planning. Carney's play is Can you guys even pronounce that? Europeanization. The Europeanization of Canada's economy and political culture. Remember, it was under Carney's tenure at the Bank of England when Brexit occurred. Yeah, that's right. And they dragged their feet to leave. And it only took 3 years. That was with all the elites dragging their feet on that one. That's a real thing. UVI sounds like a brand new disease I don't want to catch. UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's when the government pays you to do nothing. And not because you're down and out, just because you're alive. Cubanida. Oh, boy. So expect carbon pricing and climate tariffs, ESG-linked stimulus, digital ID infrastructure, central bank-aligned UBI. If they give $2,000 to every citizen, you have to take it because $2,000 becomes the new zero. Because everyone has $2,000 every month, and that becomes the new zero. Without that, you have to make $2,000 to just to get to zero in non-compliance. So when we all do nothing, where's the money for UBI come from? They just print it. It's fiat. It's fiat. And it's like any communist scheme. It just ruins the economy. It does all this stuff and it fails. Ultimately, it fails. So, this this coup or this push to bring forward this new central planning dystopia, it's not like it's going to last forever. Of course, there are places like North Korea that are still 80 years on. Is it 80 years? Maybe 90 years now. Crazy. So crazy. But somehow they manage with all of they take all the hits. They don't get anywhere with it. All roads to an election campaign against Trump-led U.S. with Carney as a steady hand, offering a Europe-style social economy with realignment being engineered. And a trade deal with the U.S. would blow it up. In short, no U.S. trade deal is a feature, not a bug. It's about power. It's about ideology. It's about re-election on a platform of fear, not growth. Retweet if you're seeing through this spin. What do you think of the Carney strategy? It makes so much sense to me, but I don't think that there's going to be an election anytime soon. I think that's the only place where I kind of disagree on this thread. But that's, I just don't think there's going to be an election. I think we're not moving towards that. Now, I got some takes on my post that were just incredible. So my post about, would you rather be a territory of the United States, or would you rather be a territory and a resource colony for China? And this was a great take. This one's funny. Jack Grant saying, as an American and Texan, I would prefer China. America doesn't need a bunch of liberal whiners who think they're better than anyone else, especially when the world can see that they're hypocrites. General Patton once said, I'd rather have a German division in front of me than a French one behind. Today, he would say the same, except replace Germany with China and French with Canadian. Pretty scathing, man. Like, this is the sentiment that's coming out of the US, man. Most Americans don't even realize what's going on in Canada. They're just like, what? What's happening? What's going on with Canada? Why is Canada behaving like that? But when people figure out what's happening with Canada, you start seeing sentiment like this. Like, my goodness, we should not be stepping on the toes of the greatest nation the world has ever seen, the biggest economy the world has ever seen, and the people that have been so friendly to us. And then this is why I get so offended when I hear, even coming from Polyev, the statement that these unjustified tariffs, none of it's unjustified. None of it is unjustified. And it's frankly insulting to hear that. It's insulting to hear that language. Stop it. You're making sense, Clyde. I don't give two shots about Canada until the truckers. Oh, I didn't give two shots about Canada until the truckers. I honestly couldn't name a single politician before that. You know what? This is why they want to stick them in a jail cell for so long. This is why they want to make an example out of Chris and Tamara. Because everyone was asleep. Everyone was asleep. And then that woke everybody up. They pushed a little too far and they pissed off the wrong people. Woke everybody up. And what is this push now is to just do that exactly. Some of the other takes on this. Whoops. Come back here, chat. Where'd you go? What are you doing? Some more comments on here. Watcher says Canada could wake up as Americans tomorrow and wouldn't even know it. This isn't even a question. The Americans will also not allow China, or the EU for that matter, to set up a beachhead right along their border, no matter what the elbows up legacy media dipshits think. To which I replied, Canadians are basically Americans, just with higher taxes, crappier weather, Sorry, Canadians are basically Americans with higher taxes, crappier weather, and an even worse medical system. Trudeau Sr. made sure we had no culture. The fact that Canadians have to identify as not American proves that there's no discernible difference. It's true. What do we, name something that is like uniquely Canadian that is not American that's part of our culture? I mean, you might be able to find things throughout history, and you might say like, oh, Terry Fox and you know, certain comedians, but they all moved to America. Certain actors, but they all moved to America. It's a thing. Maple syrup. Like they can't make that in like upstate New York. Like it's so funny. Ginger beef. I don't even know what that is. Like what? like the Chinese food? Poutine. Poutine's uniquely Canadian. Okay, I'll give you that one. I think maybe beaver tails. Beaver tails might be uniquely Canadian. All dressed potato chips, ketchup chips. Okay, we have some things, but Calgary came up with the ginger beef. What is ginger beef? Tell me about ginger beef. Nanaimo bars. Why aren't we talking about UK? Okay, let's talk about UK. So Canada tried to do a trade deal with the United Kingdom in 2024, January of 2024. And during the trade negotiations, the UK walked away from the table. They stood up and they said, you're being unreasonable, Canada, and particularly in regards to dairy, cheese, eggs, milk, poultry. They walked away from the negotiation table. Yes, we're trying to sow inroads with the UK, but this is a big problem. It's a big problem, and it's a big problem to the Americans, for obvious reasons. And so, this is so asinine. I can't believe this actually happened. So, what do the Canadians do? Because they know that trade negotiations are about to come up. They codify into law unanimously across all party lines. I'm talking about the Conservatives too. They voted for this. Bill C-202 codifies in law that they cannot bring to the table any negotiations on supply management. I'm not kidding. And this is the shortest bill. It's an amendment. It's an amendment to the Department of Foreign Affairs Trade and Development Act. Section 10 of the Department of Foreign Affairs Trade and Development Act is amended by adding the following after subsection 2. Supply management. In exercising and performing the powers and duties and functions out in subsection 2, the minister must not make any commitment on behalf of the government of Canada by international trade treaty or agreement that would have the effect of increasing the tariff rate quota within the meaning of subsection 2(1) of the customs tariff application to dairy products, poultry, or eggs, or by reducing the tariff applicable to those goods when they are imported in excess of the applicable tariff rate quota. They codified this into law. They all sat down, and I'm talking all parties. They came together and they're like, yeah, let's pass this. Let's get this, ram this through as fast as possible. We want to make sure that dairy cartel gets to live on forever and ever. Oh, man. Oh, man. Indeed. Oh, man. BA with the $10 super chat says, Clive with a V. Is this a different Clyde? Okay. I get that one quite a bit. Clive, 10% informed population that speak the truth to power. Courage, witness, changes hearts. P.S. If UK trade deal, Talisker whiskey will finally be 70% cheaper. Always silver lining, eh? Is that a good whiskey? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that much about whiskey. All I know is I bought some American whiskey because I wasn't allowed to. So I went out and I found it and I bought it. Don't tell me what to do. It's gonna make me want to do the opposite. Just have that reaction. But yes, 10% of the population. If 10% of that population speaks out, can make a change. Can make a change. So we got to keep on it. We got to absolutely keep on it. Because if we don't, then that 10% will keep dwindling. People are not sticking around. Same here, Clyde. We will not comply. Bourbon is rot gut. I don't like the taste of bourbon. I'm not gonna lie. I just don't like the taste of bourbon. Maybe it's an acquired thing. I haven't acquired it. I don't like the taste of it. But I found other American whiskeys that I do like. It's not all bourbon. Yeah, it's not all sour mash. That's the thing. Rye whiskey is supposed to be Canadian, but apparently the Canadian rye makers these days, like something about like none of them are complying with the actual rules because they're not like laws like for bourbon. It's actually a law. What is it? Scotch whiskey. That's a law. You have to follow the law of how to make it, or you can't call it that. But you can with rye, apparently. And, don't take my word for it. You might have to look that up. But I got this from someone in Calgary when I was at a liquor shop and I was talking about whiskeys. And he was really knowledgeable about whiskey. And he was actually explaining that. And apparently Jack Daniels did a whole run of rye. And they did it in the actual way that rye whiskey is supposed to be made. Like you're not allowed to use colors to give it that color and stuff like that. So just drink cognac, okay? right after a little listless receptionist says drinking's too expensive. Yeah, just get cognac. Canadian whiskey is a blend. Yeah, and I'm not opposed to blended whiskeys. I like blended whiskeys. But apparently there's no rule to like you have to. There's no like committee that makes sure that you're adhering to the actual letter of the recipe for rye. You can still call it rye and get away with it. That's what I hear. But yeah, I tried some of that Jack Daniel's stuff. It was really good. And I'm not much of a fan of Jack Daniel's like normal whiskey. That's sour mash. It's just not for me. And I'm not saying it's no good. It's just not my cup of whiskey. I like the Zionists whiskey that they make in Montreal. Boofman's. I've never heard of it. Is it actually called that, Zionist whiskey? Rye whiskey, rye whiskey, rye whiskey, I cry. If I don't get rye whiskey, then I think I might die. Wilf Carter. Awesome. I like that. There's a lot of moonshine around here. Where's around here, XYZ? Clyde Do Something is a beer man. Not always. I like vodka sodas. They're good. I do love beer, though. Southeast US. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I've heard that before. Lots of shine in the Southeast. Clyde, Trump sent us the best trade deal in the world. 35% tariffs on products. Hold on. I'll read it down here where I can still see it. Clyde, Trump sent us the best trade deal in the world. 35% tariffs on products not in CUSMA. Wow. Why do Canadians change it around? It's USMCA. Just call it what it is. I don't understand why the Canadian media does that. It's the USMCA. They just want to put Canada first. Like, Whatever. So this is the best trade deal in the world. 35% tariffs on products not in the USMCA, but 90% of our exports are in the USMCA and will be at 0% tariffs. We have 1 year to create a trade deal, in fact. Yeah, it is a sweet deal. It is a sweet deal. But all of this is political strategy. And it's really sad because everybody fell for it. Here we go. Liberal Project Fear, a longer con. This is a big con. Who broke this story? Well, of course, it was Blacklock's reporter. Privy Council polled on fears. That's right. Well, what's the story here? What is the story? How did they whip up everybody in this mass formation psychosis? Because they can't say Kuzma if they what? Because they can't say Kuzma if they say USMCA. Yeah, that's what it is. Just say it, Clyde. You know you want to. Everything American is better than Canada. Oh man. No, I think there's some things in Canada that are better. Sure. I mean, yeah, I don't think America has a ski resort that compares to Whistler Blackcomb. Like you can go to Mount Baker and there'll be like awesome powder days and stuff like that. But yeah, Vail, Bear Mountain, none of those places. None of them compare. Not even close. They're better things. Better weed. Yeah, I mean, if you're into that, maybe that might be true. America is 100% better than Canada. In a lot of regards. I would say Jackson Hole is rad. Okay, I hear a lot of great things about Jackson. I have not been, and I know a lot of people talk about it. But when it comes to accessibility and getting out there, and yeah, nothing compares to Whistler Blackcomb. Canada is beautiful, absolutely is. America's beautiful too. I mean, there's so much beauty in America. It's unbelievable. Keep your CIA. Yeah. Well, keep your CSIS. Holy cow. Do you know how corrupt this stuff is? I'm going to get into the story in a second. Do you know how crazy the story of CSIS is? This is a great book. I'm just starting to read this book. It's called Race Trader by Eliza Hadigan. And you wouldn't believe the byline is what really tells the story here. The true story of Canadian intelligence greatest cover-up. It's unbelievable that one of the biggest terrorist organizations ever to exist in Canadian history was created, funded by our special intelligence. Yeah. How awesome is that? By the way, get yourself a copy of this book. It's available on Amazon. Fantastic. I'm reading through it. I'm hoping to have Eliza on the show after reading it, because it's just unbelievable what yeah, I know the CIA has done some really bad stuff, but so has CSIS. It is really insane. That is pretty cool. Yeah, well, I'm in touch with Eliza. I've spoken with her on the phone before, and I'm hoping she'd be keen to come on after I read this to talk about it. Have you ever read the book Chaos? Holy cow. No, I haven't. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, let's get into the story before we run out of time. I don't want to not hit this story. Which I might actually bring back up on Monday, because there might be more details that come out about this. But this is crazy. From the National Citizens Coalition slams Liberal Party's Project Fear amid new revelations on creation of Elbows Up campaign strategy. Well, we all know that that was their campaign strategy. But when did they come up with this strategy? That's important. And why did they go with that? How did they figure out that that would be a winning strategy? The National Citizens Coalition and its president, Peter Coleman, are calling out the Liberal Party's disgraceful Project Fear tactics, and Project Fear is in quotes. Following new revelations obtained by Blacklock's reporter, a trusted Canadian independent news source with an accredited member of the Parliamentary Press Gallery. Blacklock's reporter, they do seriously good work. Elbows are for Muay Thai only. Yeah. New documents expose that the Liberal Party conducted government-funded focus groups to test their fear-mongering elbows up strategy months before the United States announced tariffs, using pollsters hired by the Privy Council. Readers should also note that the government focus group effort took place around the time of Trudeau's hot mic with business leaders and the press when he released what would become the foundations for the Liberal campaign. This premeditated Project Fear strategy designed to stroke anxiety and division is a betrayal of the trust of Canadians in place of their place in their government. Young Canadians, working Canadians, common sense Canadians, and desperately needed change, and they can see through the Liberal Party's manipulative tactics, says Peter Coleman, president of the National Citizens Coalition. The Liberal government has been caught red-handed, abusing taxpayer dollars to test drive and fear-mongering campaign long before any tariffs were even announced. This was not a leadership. This was not leadership. It's political opportunism at its worst. Canadians deserve a government that tackles real challenges with honesty, not one that takes a serious situation like negotiations and tariff threats from south of the border and then manufactures a greater crisis for votes. So this is gross. This is absolutely disgusting because we're only just think of all the people that lost their jobs and the businesses that went under and all of this stuff that happened economically. The Liberals did that. This never needed to happen. They're sabotaging trade negotiations to get votes. And they're going to keep doing it to keep popularity with the Elbows Up movement. The Elbows Up campaign, far from being spontaneous response to U.S. tariffs, appears to have been calculated to manipulate the public perception, funded by taxpayers and orchestrated through the Privy Council. So you paid for this. You paid for this to happen. We know better than to take Carney Liberals at their word, Coleman continues. The Liberals have long shown that they'll say anything to cling to power, that they pulled this cynical stunt during a vital change election with a worst in the G7 housing crisis, out of control immigration, record healthcare wait times, and rising crime and chaos. I'm ashamed for the millions of Canadians who have been denied their moment of recovery because of this Project Fear, especially knowing that those elbows are now down. This is just wow. It's just, it's a huge wow. The shift has hit the fan for $10. Says, quick question. With things heating up in Europe and civil war looking more likely, do you think similar unrest could happen in Canada? Are we heading that way? Absolutely. We're absolutely heading that way. And that's the thing. So, oh man, there is so much going on. And people are getting riled up. People are getting bent out of shape. People are getting encouraged to take to the streets. People are getting encouraged to become more and more violent. And it's not good. it's not good. Are we going to be able to encourage them not to do that? This is the crazy thing. While all this is happening, and this is why, you know, we see rises in wacko groups all over the country. Rises in these wacko groups, and it really does just kind of remind me of what happened in this situation, because this situation was CSIS informants actually creating a terrorist organization, and then they almost went through with a series of assassinations. Do you think that that's not possible today? Do you think that that's not possible today? There are some groups and some people online that I see all the time. You call them out by name, and holy cow, then you realize, yeah, that you know that they're there. You know that it's true that they're there and they have followings. It's nuts, and that's all it takes. Is it takes these pressure groups to a catalyst of some sort, you know, with downturned economies, these kinds of things. Beware your five eyes. Yeah, beware of what they're putting together. I mean, we've seen it, like even in the United States too. Like what was it, the plot to kidnap Governor Whitmer out of Michigan. Turns out that what was it? It was like 12 guys, and 10 of them were FBI agents. They just entrapped 2 dudes into doing something. It's insane. Yeah, FBI organized. And that's not conspiracy theory. That was the argument. That's what got them acquitted. It's like, this is entrapment. You guys encouraged them to do these deeds. They didn't even actually want to go through with it. There are so many different stories like this, and there's some that are too even graphic to describe on this platform. 3 wobblies and I'm loving this. Facts show the receipts. Or facts show the receipts? Question mark. Well, I'll let you know. I'll get you, because this book is the book's full of receipts. That's what this is about. So, yeah. The Whitmer case, I mean, I don't have a news article or anything right away, but yeah, absolutely. Antifa in the US has some members who tried to assassinate politicians. Yeah. Do you think Antifa is an organic organization? That's what I'm saying. Like there's organizations on left and right, center, middle, whatever you want to call it. They're all over the place, and they're being encouraged. Book is written by who? That's Eliza Hattigan. Yeah, it's available on Amazon. I'm gonna be reading it. So, and I've spoken with her, so I know a lot of her story. But her book's got all the data. Ops. That's it. Follow the money. Yeah, Antifa's doing all kinds of a bad mess. And there's a lot of strange actors, you know what I mean? All we see, you know, the Ray Epps kind of actors, you know. Whatever happened to Ray Epps? We still don't know about that. If you don't know who that guy is, he was the guy at the protest on Jan 6 that encouraged people to go into the Capitol. And he was out there glowing like an incandescent bulb. Ray Epps debunked. Yeah. Epps was a Fed. That's it. So yeah, and then he was put on the FBI top 10 wanted list, and then he was off it the next day. Everybody else involved went to prison for like very long times just for even going close to the Capitol. And then the one guy that encouraged everyone to, yeah, he was just mistaken. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Hello, Clyde, and everyone in chat watching from Vancouver Island, BC. Welcome, Lainey. Getting kind of close to the end here. I believe we are. This is when I start to encourage people. Hey, if you like this conversation, you like where we're going with this, if you enjoy having conversations like this, Epstein, not Epstein. Epstein, not Epstein. There you go. If you enjoy conversations like this and you want to have it with more like-minded people like that, check out the Discord. Come on, hang out. I'm always in there after the live streams on Friday nights to chat with people, have a couple more wobbly pops, hang out. I get to get your questions directly from you. There's the link. Jilly Pepper's putting it in there. Thank you very much. That link is only available during the live stream. So if you catch this maybe a couple hours later, it might still be available, but then the link expires. And we do that because we want to protect the community, because we've had so many trolls come into the community when the link was open. It was on the bottom of the description of every video, that kind of thing. A lot of trolls, a lot of bots came in, and we had to actually start all over with that community. Friday streams go by so fast. Yeah. Oh, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, come on over to the community, because then we can continue the conversation. Ask more questions. If you want to tell me I'm wrong about something, go on and do that. Link is expired. Is the link expired? I'm going to make sure that we have a good one. If that's already expired, let me make sure. We have a lot of fun in Discord. Let me just double check that one for you. Make sure that the link is still good. Can I pop this up on another window or something? See that it actually works, or if it's no good anymore. That's not how you do that. Just before we get out of here, I just want to make sure anybody who actually wants to join is able to. So if the link's no good anymore, I'll get that up for you. And it looks to be a good link. I tried too, Clyde. It's no good. Is this a different link? This might be a different link, Jilly Peppers. So share this one I just shared. Yeah, you can't use an old link. It won't work. There you go. It's right there. So try that link and give it a go. I'll share it one more time so everybody's got it. It's boom. That link worked. Awesome. So that's the good one. If you want to come join, love the Texas flag, by the way. I gotta say, it's like it's the better looking flag of all the states. I actually like it the best. But yeah, that's my opinion. That's the way it goes. But yeah, I love to do this. It's a good thing. I mean, I don't have to. I don't feel an obligation to. I really enjoy it. I like having conversations with people in the community, and I like to get other people talking amongst each other, amongst yourselves. There's been a lot of friendships that have come out of this community. This is why Marty and I also, we try to do you get paid for this? Not a cent. No. For doing the Discord chats? No, not a penny. So I just do it because it's fun. It's the same thing with when Marty and I, we do these community events in person. Often we're incurring large costs to do it. It's not that we're not. The last one we did was in Squamish, so I didn't really have to pay much. But I got Marty a hotel room. I was like, I live in a small place. I'd have you in my place, but I got him a hotel room. We pay for these things ourselves. And there's no grift. There's no paywalls. There's nothing. When we do the events at the bars, we're never asking for a door charge or anything like that. It's just come meet us and meet each other. That's the whole point. The idea is to get people talking, make solid friendships all over the place, and then the community gets stronger and better. And it's I love it. I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's great. It's how you grow and make things more solid. This is what we do. Anyway, gonna call it for tonight for this live stream. Thank every one of you for coming out. You guys are fantastic as always, and it's a great time to have some wobbly pops with everybody. And yeah, let's go bring it over to the Discord. For everybody else that doesn't join, we'll see you all Monday. Keep on trucking.